Every great machine starts as an idea, a vision of how power and purpose can meet in perfect balance. But some machines never settle for balance. They chase something deeper. They become the moment when engineering pride meets pure driving instinct, when restraint and rebellion occupy the same cabin. This story is about one of those moments. A car that wore a business suit but secretly kept a racing helmet in the trunk. It carried itself with quiet confidence. But beneath the leather and refinement waited a V8 heartbeat that refused to idle politely. The kind of car that whispered ambition to executives and temptation to enthusiasts, bridging a divide few even realized existed. This is the story of how performance hid in plain sight, and how that dual nature changed what a luxury sedan could mean. Like the video, subscribe for more deep dives into automotive legends, and comment below which machine you want explored next. The BMW E34 540i arrived in 1995 as a statement of quiet authority. It was meant to refine the executive sedan, not reinvent it. Yet, in classic BMW fashion, reinvention happened anyway. This car stood at the intersection of two worlds, where the promise of high-speed precision met the composure of German luxury. For years, the E34 generation had been the face of disciplined engineering, a mid-size sedan that signaled success without arrogance. But as the model line neared the end of its run, BMW slipped something unexpected under the hood. A 4.0-liter V8 that turned a boardroom cruiser into a backroad revelation. The 540i replaced the earlier 535i and its inline-six with this all-new M60 engine. An aluminum masterpiece that delivered 282 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. On paper, it was modest. In motion, it was transformative. The car gained nearly the acceleration of the E34 M5, but without its high-revving, maintenance-heavy personality. This was the wolf in executive clothing. A calculated experiment to see how much performance the luxury market would tolerate before it called the product excessive. In the early 1990s, luxury buyers were changing. The Japanese had arrived with smooth, quiet sedans that focused on insulation and convenience rather than engagement. German manufacturers, sensing the shift, responded by refining their powertrains and adding comfort features. Yet BMW resisted full softness. The E34 540i was proof of that resistance. It kept hydraulic steering, a manual gearbox option, and a suspension tuned not just for compliance but for feel. BMW offered both a 5-speed manual and a 5-speed automatic, knowing most owners would choose the latter, but also understanding that enthusiasts needed to see that the manual existed. It was a message. The company had not forgotten who it was. The chassis, already celebrated for balance and predictability, absorbed the V8's extra torque with minor adjustments. Reinforced engine mounts, stiffer front springs, and revised dampers gave the 540i the composure it needed to handle the added weight. On the Autobahn, it felt unshakable at triple-digit speeds. In corners, it remained disciplined, rotating with a precision that sedans from other manufacturers struggled to match. The car's power delivery was linear, its throttle response immediate, and its sound refined yet unmistakably muscular. BMW's engineers managed to create a sedan that performed like a sports car without the visual aggression. Externally, the E34 540i revealed little of its potential. A small badge on the trunk, discreet dual exhausts, and slightly larger wheels were its only tells. There were no flared arches, no spoilers, no overt cues. The design language was deliberate understatement, a reflection of 1990s European confidence. The luxury class didn't need to shout, it needed to suggest. For the buyer, that discretion was part of the appeal. It was the car you could drive to a board meeting in the morning and to a winding canyon road at sunset, blending into both environments with ease. Inside, the BMW E34 540i continued the theme of restrained power. The interior was a lesson in ergonomics and tactile quality. Every button had purpose. Every surface felt substantial. The thick-rimmed steering wheel, the driver-oriented dashboard, and the analog gauges all reinforced the company's obsession with connection. Even the optional leather seats balanced comfort with support. In an age before massive screens and touch panels, the cabin of the 540i communicated something profound. Technology should enhance, not distract. But the car's brilliance lay in its contradictions. It was heavy by sports car standards, yet agile when pushed. It was luxurious yet mechanical. It offered automatic convenience but begged to be driven manually. These dualities defined its character and, more importantly, its place in history. The 540i was not an accident. It was a carefully measured response to both market pressure and brand identity. BMW's decision to release this V8-powered E34 just 1 year before the new E39 generation might seem curious today. Some saw it as a farewell gesture, others as a test run for the new technology that would soon define the next era. The M60 engine itself was a showcase of modern metallurgy and precision machining, marking BMW's move toward cleaner, more efficient V8s. It used aluminum construction for both block and heads, a move that saved weight while maintaining durability. It also featured a cross-bolted main bearing design, reducing flex under high load. Every detail reflected the company's engineering philosophy: progress through precision. The performance figures confirmed what the design hinted at. The BMW E34 540i could sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 6 seconds flat, depending on the transmission. That put it squarely in sports car territory for the mid-1990s. More importantly, it did so without drama. The car didn't launch aggressively or roar excessively. It simply gathered speed with calm authority. For drivers who appreciated subtlety, this was the ultimate expression of confidence. Still, not everyone understood it. Some luxury buyers preferred the smoother, quieter demeanor of rivals. Others questioned why BMW had invested so heavily in a model that would soon be replaced. Yet history proved that this move was no misstep. The E34 540i became a bridge, both technologically and philosophically, between the analog purity of the past and the digital sophistication of the future. It showed that a sedan could evolve without abandoning the qualities that made it desirable in the first place. In retrospect, the 1995 BMW E34 540i was more than just an executive sedan. It was a manifesto written in metal, glass, and gasoline. It captured an era when driving still mattered, when engineers could chase both comfort and character. It proved that luxury and performance were not opposites but partners in a shared pursuit of excellence. As the 1990s drew to a close, that pursuit would only intensify. The BMW E34 540i, entering 1995 with its confident stance and discreet strength, became a testing ground for the company's evolving philosophy. The luxury car market was shifting fast. Customers were beginning to value refinement over raw response, electronics over engagement. Yet, for BMW, engagement was non-negotiable. The 540i's mission was to prove that progress did not have to come at the expense of passion. Beneath its modest lines, it carried lessons that would shape the next generation of BMW sedans. To understand how this sedan became such an important turning point, we need to look at the powertrain in more depth. The M60B 40 V8 was an engineering milestone for BMW. It marked the brand's first modern all-aluminum V8, a departure from the older, heavier designs of previous decades. Each cylinder bank featured 4 valves per cylinder, driven by dual overhead camshafts, a layout that prioritized efficiency and precision over brute force. This configuration delivered a smooth, turbine-like power curve, blending the urgency of a sports car with the civility of a luxury cruiser. BMW's engineers spent years fine-tuning the balance of the rotating assembly, ensuring that even at high RPM, vibration was nearly non-existent. It wasn't just about power. It was about the feeling of mechanical grace. But the 540i wasn't only about the engine. It was about how that power translated to the pavement. The suspension geometry, already lauded in earlier E34 models, received further refinement. The front end used McPherson struts, while the rear employed a multi-link setup that offered exceptional stability and ride quality. BMW engineers sought to maintain the car's signature balance, achieving an almost perfect 50-50 weight distribution even with the heavier V8. That symmetry gave the 540i an agility few rivals could match. It wasn't nervous or twitchy. It was deliberate, composed, and reassuring. Even under heavy braking or mid-corner correction, the chassis remained predictable, giving drivers a sense of total command. On open highways, the BMW E34 540i demonstrated what made it special. It could cruise effortlessly for hours, the engine barely breaking a sweat, yet it always felt alert and eager. The steering, hydraulically assisted and tuned with precision, communicated texture from the road surface without harshness. It was the kind of car that encouraged long journeys not just because it was comfortable, but because it made the driver feel connected to the world beyond the windshield. That quality, rare even in its own time, is what turned many owners into lifelong enthusiasts. They saw the 540i not just as transportation, but as a companion for discovery. Yet this same quality presented a challenge for BMW's marketing department. How do you sell subtlety in an era becoming increasingly defined by showmanship? Competitors were beginning to lean into visual drama. Flashier body kits, louder exhausts, bigger badges. The 540i remained reserved. Its power was a secret shared only with those who understood what the badge meant. BMW's designers intentionally resisted adding unnecessary flair. Even the M-Technic suspension and sport package options were restrained, designed to enhance function rather than flaunt performance. For many buyers, that understatement was the essence of luxury. The car's interior design followed the same philosophy. The E34 cabin might look conservative today, but in its time, it was a benchmark of ergonomic clarity. Every control was positioned with purpose. The dashboard tilted gently toward the driver, ensuring that nothing distracted from the act of driving. Materials were chosen for durability and tactile satisfaction. Soft touch plastics, high-grade leather, and genuine wood trim that aged gracefully. The 540i's sound insulation struck an ideal balance, enough to maintain serenity at highway speeds, but never so much that it silenced the engine's character. BMW had engineered quiet confidence into every inch of the car. There was also a sense of craftsmanship that modern vehicles rarely replicate. Assembly took place in Dingolfing, Germany, where attention to detail bordered on obsession. Panel gaps were inspected by hand. Engines were bench-tested before installation. Even paint application went through rigorous quality checks to ensure uniform finish. The result was a sedan that felt carved from a single piece of metal. Tight, solid, and enduring. Many E34 540i examples, even decades later, still drive with the same precision, a testament to how deeply engineered they were. However, the 540i's true genius lay in how it foreshadowed the future. BMW's move to V8 power signaled an evolution in performance philosophy. The era of high-revving sixes was giving way to effortless torque and broader power bands. The E34 540i proved that this transition could enhance the driving experience rather than dilute it. It set the stage for the E39 generation, where refinement and strength would reach new heights. The later models owed much to the groundwork laid by this 1995 sedan. Without it, BMW might have pursued a different trajectory, one less grounded in mechanical purity. Still, the car's identity was not without internal conflict. Purists, long devoted to BMW's straight-six heritage, were skeptical of the new V8. They saw it as a concession to market trends, a shift away from the purity of simpler engines. But time revealed the opposite. The M60 engine proved itself reliable, sophisticated, and capable of enduring immense mileage with proper care. It offered a different flavor of performance, one rooted in smooth torque rather than sharp revs. This duality, heritage meeting innovation, defined the spirit of the E34 540i. It was not the death of the straight-six ideal, but its evolution. Even so, this transformation came at a price. The 540i was expensive to produce and maintain compared to its smaller siblings. Its aluminum components, while advanced, required precision servicing. The car's complexity signaled the end of an era when enthusiasts could easily wrench on their own vehicles. BMW had built something ahead of its time, but that foresight created new expectations for future models. Owners demanded both comfort and performance, forcing BMW to balance two identities that would forever define its sedans: the driver's car and the executive's car. What makes the BMW E34 540i so fascinating today is how quietly it achieved all this. It was never intended to dominate headlines or steal sales from the Halo M5. Yet, in many ways, it democratized performance within the lineup. It offered 90% of the M5's speed with 100% of its daily usability. That balance made it an icon among those who wanted to drive rather than display. It also marked the beginning of a new kind of luxury, one that valued substance over spectacle. As the 1990s closed, automotive technology accelerated. Electronic controls, adaptive suspensions, and digital interfaces began to dominate. But before that wave fully took hold, the 1995 BMW E34 540 I stood as one of the last analog expressions of driving mastery. It was precise without pretense, sophisticated without arrogance. Every input still mattered. Every road still spoke through the steering. For anyone who believed that progress could coexist with purity, this car proved the point. By 1995, the BMW E34 540 I had already established itself as a refined powerhouse, but its legacy was just beginning to take shape. What separated this car from its peers was not only its performance or craftsmanship, but its lasting influence on how the world defined the modern executive sedan. It didn't shout its presence. It projected assurance through silence. And in doing so, it changed how car makers approached the balance between power, comfort, and identity. The 540i became a template for the decades that followed. The lessons from the BMW E34 540i echoed through the company's next generation. When BMW introduced the E39 in 1996, much of the engineering philosophy had already been proven by its predecessor. The E34 had demonstrated that a V8-powered sedan could deliver everyday civility without compromising its dynamic integrity. Engineers studying feedback from 540i owners noted how drivers valued the combination of effortless torque and composed handling. This insight directly shaped the development of BMW's next flagship sedans. Even the way BMW tuned steering systems and transmission behavior in later models drew from what worked in the E34. The 540i was more than a product. It was a laboratory on wheels. Yet, beyond engineering, the car represented something cultural. The BMW E34 540i emerged at a time when automotive identity was undergoing transformation. The 1980s had been about image. The 1990s demanded authenticity. Consumers no longer wanted flash without function. They sought vehicles that could transition seamlessly from professional life to personal enjoyment. The 540i embodied that shift. It was the vehicle of people who appreciated subtle power. A car for those who understood that confidence needs no amplification. This understated authority would become one of BMW's defining traits in the luxury market. The influence of the BMW E34 540i can also be traced through its impact on enthusiasts. Many who experienced it firsthand describe it as the car that turned admiration into loyalty. Its balance of usability and thrill created a bond that few vehicles could replicate. It invited owners to enjoy the drive, not just the destination. That emotional connection became central to BMW's brand identity. The concept of a driver's car matured during this period, evolving from a marketing term into a measurable standard. The 540i was part of that evolution. It embodied what it meant to build a machine around the driver's instincts. Performance-wise, the BMW E34 540i did something remarkable. It narrowed the gap between mainstream and high-performance models. For many, it was the accessible alternative to the M5, offering near equal power in a more reserved package. This democratization of performance reshaped consumer expectations. Other manufacturers soon followed, developing their own hidden performance models. The idea that an executive sedan could double as a weekend thrill machine became the industry's next obsession. Without the 540i, that blend might have arrived later, or perhaps not as gracefully. The 540i's longevity also contributes to its legend. Many examples continue to thrive decades later, a testament to the engineering standards of its time. Enthusiasts appreciate its mechanical honesty, the absence of overly complex electronics, the mechanical steering feel, the way each gear change feels deliberate and tactile. Unlike many cars that aged into obsolescence, the 540i aged into respect. It represents the last breath of an analog philosophy before the digital era took hold. Collectors now view it as the perfect compromise between vintage charm and modern performance, bridging two automotive generations seamlessly. Looking back, the car's restraint seems almost revolutionary. The 1995 BMW E34 540i could have been loud about its abilities. Instead, it chose confidence through calm. That decision gave it timeless appeal. Where many of its contemporaries look dated today, the E34's clean proportions and balanced stance remain elegant. The car's design reflects a period when form followed function, when beauty emerged naturally from purpose. Even its stance, low, stable, purposeful, communicates quiet strength. Perhaps the most interesting aspect of the BMW E34 540i's story is how it symbolizes BMW's internal balance between progress and tradition. On one side stood engineers driven by data and efficiency. On the other, those who valued emotion and heritage. The 540i satisfied both camps. It integrated technological advancement with a human-centered experience. It showed that innovation could be felt, not just measured. This lesson continued to guide the company's design language and product philosophy long after the E34 left production. The broader automotive world also learned from the example. Rivals began adopting similar philosophies, creating sedans that could satisfy executives by day and enthusiasts by night. It redefined what sport luxury meant. Instead of being a niche concept, it became a standard expectation. The ripple effect spread through the entire industry, influencing design priorities, marketing language, and customer perception. The notion of a driver's sedan owes much to this one car's balance of character and competence. For all its innovation, the BMW E34 540i still held true to the core idea that had defined the brand from the beginning: the joy of driving. It never lost that sense of purpose. From the moment the key turned and the V8 hummed to life, it reminded its driver why mechanical connection matters. Every mile offered something genuine: feedback, rhythm, satisfaction. This authenticity remains rare in modern automotive culture, where software often mediates the experience. The 540i serves as a reminder that the best cars feel alive, even when standing still. Today, enthusiasts look back at the 1995 BMW E34 540i as one of the most complete expressions of the company's engineering maturity. It was confident but not complacent, forward-thinking yet grounded in mechanical truth. Its impact endures not just in the vehicles that followed, but in the community it inspired. Owners continue to maintain and restore these cars with care, preserving a piece of automotive history that still has relevance in the modern world. The 540i wasn't simply built for its time. It was built to transcend it. In an era when cars are increasingly defined by screens and algorithms, the legacy of the BMW E34 540i stands as both a benchmark and a warning. It reminds manufacturers that refinement means nothing without feel. Power means little without restraint, and luxury means most when it serves the driver, not the other way around. Its quiet strength continues to influence how we measure greatness in a sedan. Proof that the spirit of driving, once captured, never fades. The BMW E34 540i, the 1995 expression of balance and precision, represents more than a chapter in automotive history. It embodies an ideal that modern cars still chase. This sedan taught an entire generation of engineers and enthusiasts that sophistication and performance can coexist without compromise. It bridged eras, linking the analog tactility of the 1980s with the refined intelligence that would define the 2000s. In doing so, it proved that innovation doesn't need to abandon its roots. It can evolve while honoring them. The enduring respect for the BMW E34 540i lies in how complete it feels. Every component, from its V8 heart to its chassis balance, works in harmony. The result is a car that delivers confidence instead of chaos. It accelerates with grace, handles with composure, and settles into long journeys with quiet determination. Unlike many machines of its era that emphasized one trait at the expense of others, the 540i remained even-handed. That equilibrium is what gave it longevity. It is also what continues to make it so admired among enthusiasts who value integrity in design. What makes the 1995 BMW E34 540i especially remarkable is how it managed to anticipate the needs of drivers who hadn't yet realized what they wanted. It offered a driving experience that was both civilized and thrilling, a blend that became the hallmark of future luxury performance sedans. The car's V8 engine became a reference point for how to deliver torque without turbulence. Its chassis tuning demonstrated that a large sedan could feel agile without sacrificing ride comfort. And its understated design set a standard for elegance that continues to influence automotive styling decades later. For BMW, the E34 540i became a cornerstone of credibility. It validated the company's belief that precision engineering and emotional driving could live in the same product. It prepared the groundwork for the celebrated E39 that followed, and even further down the line, for the philosophy behind the modern 5 Series. The DNA of the 540i still runs through those cars. Every time a driver feels the subtle communication through the steering wheel or the poised confidence at high speed, they are experiencing echoes of the 1995 original. Among enthusiasts, the car's appeal has matured with time. Collectors appreciate its honesty, the absence of unnecessary electronics, the tactile quality of its controls, the solidity of its build. It represents a form of craftsmanship that is increasingly rare. Many examples on the road today have surpassed hundreds of thousands of miles, still performing with precision. That resilience reinforces what BMW achieved with the E34 platform. Mechanical integrity through thoughtful design. It's not nostalgia that makes people revere the 540i. It's respect for the engineering that allows it to remain relevant long after its production ended. The true legacy of the 1995 BMW E34 540i is not just in how it performed, but in how it made people feel. It brought humanity into technology, emotion into engineering. Drivers connected with it because it spoke their language. Clear, confident, and honest. The experience was not about dominance or status. It was about understanding. The car rewarded skill and invited engagement. It was a conversation between human and machine that never needed translation. In an age where cars have become smarter, faster, and quieter, the lessons from the E34 540i resonate even more. It reminds us that performance is not only measured in horsepower or lap times, but in the way a car communicates. It reminds us that luxury should serve the driver's senses, not isolate them. It reminds us that progress, when done correctly, feels natural rather than forced. These are timeless principles, and they all trace back to this understated sedan from 1995. The BMW E34 540i was, and remains, a masterclass in moderation. It never overreached, yet it always impressed. It respected its driver's intelligence and rewarded curiosity. It wasn't a car for everyone, but for those who understood it, it became unforgettable. In that way, it achieved what few vehicles ever do. It became personal. Nearly 30 years later, the 540i continues to inspire new generations of enthusiasts, restorers, and designers. Its influence can be seen not only in BMW's current lineup, but also in the broader philosophy of performance luxury vehicles around the world. When drivers talk about finding the perfect balance between comfort and control, they are often describing what this car accomplished decades ago. The 1995 BMW E34 540i stands today as proof that excellence endures. It was built in an era of mechanical truth, guided by engineers who believed that driving should be both rational and emotional. It became a symbol of purpose-driven design, one that still defines what it means to create a great sedan. The legacy it leaves is not bound by nostalgia. It lives on every time a carmaker chooses feel over flash, precision over pretense, and authenticity over excess. That is the measure of true influence, and that is the enduring mark of the E34 540i.